In our house, four brothers and two sisters. I was the most revolutionary and the most wanted, the most art from all of them. All the other children were very obedient to my knowledge, and I was always contrary. I always wanted to do something different and different from the most smallest childhood. I always never liked to go to theater. Never did. I always looked for other kind of books to read, which my parents didn't want me to read. All the games, particularly one game came to my mind. I don't not remember the exact nature of that holiday. I think it was Purim. So most of the boys were playing, and there was some store that was selling gunpowder that you stuffed into a toy gun, and you lit it up and exploded. So we went, a bunch of kids, and we bought that powder, and I stuffed it up, and suddenly, and it did not explode. So I looked into the gun barrel, and bingo! So I looked into that gun barrel, it exploded in my face, and the children started to laugh, and my whole face was black and blue. With the powder granules were all over embedded into my skin. And so I ran home, I went in through the back door, not through the front door, and went right into bed. And I laid in bed, and it was vivid, the whole story, it happened yesterday. It was 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, I was still in bed, and my mother suddenly comes in and yells, what are you sleeping so much? And I didn't answer. She comes in, and I was hidden under the cover, and she lifted up the cover, and she looked at my face and the whole thing here. We went to the felcher. There was a felcher, some kind of a man, just like a registered nurse, and he was a male, and he did put in some paste on my face, and it took a little time. Until this very day, I have a few black spots right on my upper lip, and many other incidents that I was always against. Then, as soon as I was about 10 or 11, the Zionist movement came into effect, and there were some very bright young men in my little town, which is called Blonia in Polish. And I was among the first ones to join. Anti-Semitism was a very sore spot with me. And I joined. My parents were against it. They didn't like Zionism. And I fought for many years, until I was 16. I said, I must leave for Palestine. Of course, they wouldn't let me go, and I was a minor. I couldn't get a passport without their signature and their permission. So I went, and I said to my father that a different story, that he has to sign some paper for me, that I have to go to a different school, which I wanted to be. The Zionist movement wants to enlist me for free. There was a school where you learn agriculture to work in Palestine. And he didn't know, and he signed it, and the signature was actually a signature for me to get a passport. And when I was almost 17, and as soon as I got the passport, the Zionist office in this little town, which they had, was Victor Rosenberg, a very bright young man, very pro-Zionist, and he applied for me for a permit to go to England, to go to Palestine. That time the English gave out which was known as certificates for a limited amount of Jews to go to Palestine, and I was one of them. And sure enough, it didn't take more than about 6 months, and the certificate came in that I can go. Well, my parents saw that that nothing can be done, and my mother started to talk to my father, let him go. So that was the day when I began to live on my own. I was given a little bit of money, and I went, the story is vivid as if today, it was on a Sunday that we took the train to Warsaw, and on the 6th in the afternoon the train left for Vienna. And on the way to Vienna, the train stopped a number of times. A number of more young Jewish boys came aboard that went to Palestine. Their mothers took them to the border, and those stories, also children. And we went to Vienna. We stayed in Vienna. We stayed in Vienna for 2 weeks in a hotel. The Zionists arranged it for us, and we stayed there. And there was a story that we should all see if we can buy small handguns. So we went to the Judengasse, the street in Vienna, where they sold small guns, and we bought a gun, and they told us to buy a round black bread to cut out the centerpiece, and to put the gun inside, and close up the piece very smartly. You could never notice it, and that's the way we smuggled in the gun. And from Vienna we went to Trieste, and we took a boat by the name of Helion. And we boarded in Jaffa, and there was no port that time. We went up a small boat, and we came to Palestine. And in Palestine was very hard to find work, very difficult. I had a landsman there. I had two men from my town in Tel Aviv. One was a shoemaker, and it was very difficult to find jobs, so they sent me up to Tveria, where I was working for on the fish that they were building the time from Tzemach to Tveria. And I lived in a tent there. I worked there for about 3/4 of a year. The very first days were very hard on me. It was in June. The sun was very hot, very difficult. I had blisters on my hands, and we worked very hard. And finally, the project came to an end. There was no money for it, and I went to Haifa. And from Haifa, I couldn't find any work, so I went to Tel Aviv, and then there was a story going around that they're hiring Jews into the railroad in Lod, because they wanted as many Jews to get into these positions as Arabs wanted to get in. So of course they needed helpers to be that can do machinery work to the railroad, and I couldn't do that, so they told me I should go there anyhow and apply, and I went there. So I was sent into a shop to make a sample, to make an octagon out of a round piece, file it down. And of course I couldn't do it, so there was another man, which he was a machinist, a very good one. Katz was his name. He was from Warsaw, and he says to me, I should watch through the window. If the Englishman, the tall Englishman comes, I should let him know he'll do it for me. So he started to file it, I was watching, and before he almost finished, the Englishman came in, and I stood nearby, and I was resting. So he looked at it and said, it's all right. So they hired me, and I worked there for almost three years, until they laid off the people from the railroad. They started laying off people, and there was no work to be found. And I had an aunt in America, and she wanted me to come to America.
An aunt?
My aunt, she wanted me to come
on whose side?
My aunt, my mother's sister.
What's your name?
Chip Tzipora.
Tzipora.
She wanted to come to America, so she sent me papers that she'd come to America. So there was no consul, no American consul in Palestine. So we went to Egypt. I went to Egypt. In Egypt, in Cairo, I went to Egypt. In Egypt, I got the visa. I was there about 6 months. I was working meanwhile. And from there, I went, when I got the visa was a stamp on the visa that the Congress is acting to apply a quota on entrance for immigrants to America. So the man that was going to make me the visa, the man that I said he will arrange to get the visa for me, he said to brother to make me a Russian citizen. So because the quota was so big for Russia, and Russia doesn't let out on the people, so there will be plenty of room. And from Poland, there will be very chance to get it. So finally, they got me the passport, the visa, and on the visa was a stamp that the visas will be not valid if Congress if the act that goes by in Congress, the quota system goes by, and my quota will be full. So I'll have to wait. Actually, it happened. So I went to France and I bought a ticket to America. My aunt sent me. And I came to France, and I couldn't go to America. The quota was full. The Russian quota was full for about 2 years. It was full. So I waited there, and then they notified me to come to America. And I left for America, but before leaving for America, I went to Danzig, which was a free city, to see my parents. Before I go to America, I couldn't go to Poland because I was afraid of military service. So they all came to see me, and I went back to Paris. And from Paris, I went to America. And ever since, I lived in America all my life. That's very well. Well, about my parents, all I know is that my father's name was Pinchas Belmacher, B-E-L-M-A-C-H-E-R, Belmacher. And my mother's name was Chaya Yita Lubliner. My father was born in Mogielnice, Poland. That's a small town not far from Warsaw, past Grujec. I've been there visiting many times. My mother's name my mother was born in Blonia, Poland. Her father's name was Leibisch, and her mother's name was Sura. My father's grandparents, which I've known very well, but I could not remember now their names. Yeah, my father. Yeah. So this story goes back when my father was not a very religious man. By not a religious man, I can explain, which is known in Poland as a misnagget. A misnagget, he was not orthodox, going to a small shul. He went to the regular shul. And most of the time he prayed home, except on Shabbat. He went to shul. My mother was more religious than my father. The children were home, were brought up religious. The oldest child was my sister, Tzipora, Chipola was her name. And my brother younger from me was Yaakov, and Abraham, and Yitzchak, and Malka was my younger sister. All of them, of course, perished with Hitler. And my father died. My mother went home with all my children. And
it's very hard.
I've seen them many times since I left them. I was twice from France, once when I got there, before I left to America, the second time when I left for America, and from the States I came to America from France in October 1925, and in 1928 I took a trip to Danzig again to see them all. And in 1931, when I became an American citizen, I went back to Poland and I was with them a whole year. I stayed with them. They begged me to stay in Poland and I should remain there with them. I shouldn't go back to America. But I never wanted to stay in Poland. And so I went back to America, where I thought I would have felt my life was very happy in America. I love America to this very day. When I say that I love America, of course, there's no substitute for Israel. I love America because America was free to me. I felt the air was not like in Poland, where everybody was called a Žid, a Jew, and the boycotts. But America, I felt, was a new world. It was, the Jew breathed freely in America. Of course, I was always remained loyal about Palestine and Israel, but America was to me a land that I've never, even in France, which was a land where liberty and equality was still, anti-Semitism was a lot in America. In New York, I lived for so many years, I never felt anybody pointing to me that I was a Jew. And that's the reason, to this very day, I appreciate America. So when my parents, my mother, in 1931, when I left off, when I went back to America, stay all year, my younger brother got married, and it was a very happy occasion for me. And my oldest sister had one little girl, and my brother, when I left, had one brother, and then I had one brother, Yitzhak. He was ordained as a rabbi. That's what I was told. And when he was ordained as a rabbi, and he was married and had a few children. And my youngest sister was married and had one child named after my father. And most of the family of my mother, brothers and my mother's brothers and sisters and their children married, all lived in Bologna. They were all, none of them were workers, most of them were small merchants. And life was hard and difficult, but it's not only my family, but most Jews in Poland had a very bitter time. But they had to do the best they can. The Zionist movement was very big in Poland, but of course they couldn't go to Palestine, so many would have gone because England blocked the whole story. And this story, okay, let's wait a while. Well, from my father's brothers and sisters, which he had two sisters. He had one sister in Gruyets and one in Mogilnica, and he had two brothers. Two of them were bakers. They had their own bakery. my father was the most comfortable of all of them, but they all were very nice. They all had big families, and our family was considered sort of, I would say, not leaders, but looked up to from my father's side. And from my mother's side, we had also there were small grocery keepers and butcher shops they had. And of course, not everybody could buy their things. The Jews in town, the majority of Jews in this little town were poor workers and unemployed. And so therefore the merchants couldn't make out very well. And it was always a struggle to make ends meet. And until the final end came, that's about, let's see the way From my mother's side, all I can remember that she had two sisters, and let's see now, and one brother, two brothers, two sisters and two brothers she had. There were 5 children. One sister had 5 children, and her husband died, and she herself had a tragic end. She had a small grocery, and a fire started, and she got burned, very bad burn, and died from her burn. And one of her sons, Mendel Grabsky, he lives in Israel now. His name is Menachem Grabsky. He lives in Israel, married, and he's in Tel Aviv. And another brother, my mother's brother, one Lubliner, Shimon Lubliner, he had a butcher shop, a kosher butcher shop. When Hitler came to Poland, one of his sons, Avram Moshe was his name, ran away to Russia, and he ran to Siberia, and he survived the war. After the war, he came back to Poland, and in 1954, he got married in Russia. And he got married, and he came back to Poland. He lived in Lodz till 1948. Then the Polish government permitted the Jews to leave for Israel. So he came to Israel with his wife and 1 child and 2 children. And he now lives in Cologne, Israel. He has 3 children, married daughters. They all live in the Cologne, and he is the only one that remained from they were a family of 8 children. His father's name was Shimon, his mother's name was Hanala, and there were 8 children, and he was the only one that remained. And from the Grabskis, 1 remained, and all the others, brothers and sisters, none of them remained. So from our family, only 3 cousins remained, me and Grabsky and Lublina. All 3 of us live in Israel now. We live in Jerusalem. Abraham lives in Cologne, and Menachem lives in Tel Aviv. And Menachem has no children.